Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City. This is part 2 of building a MOC from scratch, an interior designer's office. In part 1, I showed how to build this particular set and I built it from ground up in real time. If you haven't watched that video, do check that out first. You can follow the link in the card above or in the link in the description. In this video, we're going to explore how to decorate the outside and the inside of this build to distinguish it as an interior designer's office. I have not done this before, so that is part of the challenge. I'll be building it in real time. I have given it some thought and prepared some items, but other than that, this is something I'm doing right now, live, or at least live for the camera and in real time, and we'll see what the results are. If you watched the first video, you know I ran into certain problems along the way and had to make adjustments. I'm sure this will be no different. So let's get started right now. And I'm going to start off with the exterior first. So we're going to decorate this area. As you can see, I've built this little building on a green base plate and I thought this would represent the grass it's built on. So there's opportunity to add some flowers and some greenery around here, and this is a little back garden or backyard. So let's start off with this backyard, and what I thought it would be interesting to have some kind of feature. Remember, it all starts off with what the concept of the build is. So anytime I build a MOC, there always two things that I always keep in mind, and that is concept and details. The concept in this case is the interior designer's office, so everything should reflect this basic concept. So everything I design, from the exterior design and all the interior details that I'll add in, or strengthen this whole concept of an interior designer's office. So very stylish and things you'd expect to find in such a person's office. So what I'm going to do here is create a little garden, but there's going to be a central feature, and the central feature will be a water fountain. So there are water fountain builds which you might find in the assembly square. There's also been a creator set with a park with a large fountain, but all those are too big to put into such a small space. So I'm going to build one from scratch, and I'm going to use a couple of items, and hopefully it will resemble some kind of fountain. So this is going to be the water. These are light blue or light trans blue cones and studs. And let's have this. So I'm going to build some kind of fountain, and I'm using this round brick, and let's put this over it to cover the top. Now I'm using this rod piece or bar element to hold all the different pieces together. This is going to be like a little, I guess, a fountain dish. And you see, now I can't put this directly on top because everything is reversed. Unless I do it this way, but that doesn't really look like water. So what I'm going to do is I'll need some kind of a stud, a round stud with a hole like this. And this is a little cheat. Anytime you need to go in a reverse order, if you have a bar element, and that's why I use the bar element, you can use this round stud with a hole, put it on, and what this does, it now puts the stud in the right direction. Okay, let me just try to get this right. And this allows me then to put these studs and the cone in the right direction. So this goes here. Let's give it a bit of space maybe. This should go down and this can go in. And I think we've created a nice little fountain which we can place in this corner right over here. Now let's change the camera angle and we'll see how we can decorate this area over here to look like a little garden. So for this garden, I think we can add some tilings to look like a bit of rock work, and that can possibly surround this fountain leading from the door. And then I think against this display we can add some greenery. So let's start off with the tiles. Got a bit of tiles over here, and let's have some large dark gray tiles, and we'll start from the middle of the door. I always like to create some kind of flow from doorways to whatever you want to go, so there's a nice kind of guided path. Not much of a path in this case, since I think I can only put 2 of these. But let's fill in the space with some smaller tiles, and maybe let's alternate them. Let's do 2 light gray ones here, and then on the outside we can do darker gray. So let's do that for here as well. Generally, I do like to play around with different color tones, and in a case like this, I can use a dark gray and light gray. They're all from the same palette, but these tones give some sort of visual variety and looks more interesting rather than just if you were to use, let's say, all the same dark gray or light gray tiles. So now I'm trying to create some kind of pattern, if it's possible. So that's our little garden. This goes back here. I'll move this dish later. I can do that now. Okay, that goes up. And now I need to fill in this green parts. I've got my little box of green stuff. It's always a little surprise. I don't really know what's inside, but let's see what we can add. I like these parts here. Reminds me of Jack and the Beanstalk. And these are nice here. Now, there are different parts to work with. I don't want to put all the different parts together. So let's use 2 Jack and the Beanstalks. And let's use some of these flower parts. So I'm going to add one of these. Let's see, we've got different colors. I think we've got enough to work with. I've never seen a brown flower, but I guess we can always have a brown flower. Let's do this, and let's start off by placing this brown flower here. Let's move this for now, and all I want to do is add a bit of color, a bit of greenery, so it doesn't look so concrete. And again, I'm going with that whole idea of alternating patterns like that. So that's one way I basically just try to get different feels and looks. I just go for alternating pattern, and that just adds a bit of color, a bit of design, and there we've got a nice little back garden with a design feature in the form of a waterfall and a water fountain. It makes sense, you know, for an interior designer, I think, to have this kind of a landscaping, something they can show off to clients as well. Alright, so we've got bits and pieces here. I can basically add stuff, you know, just like that. I know it goes off the base plate, so it really depends what you would put this next to. But even if it's a sidewalk or something, or adjacent building with a road or something, this would still fit. And I'm just going to add a few of these flower studs. And what I like to do is really to break up the plates, basically. I don't like to show too many exposed studs at one time. So something like this breaks it up. So maybe I'll put this here. So that looks a bit more finished. While there are exposed studs, to me this just looks like uneven grass, so that works for me. Now this is the front of the building, so I don't want to put this grass. This looks a bit messy, so let's go with those blades, these blades here. Now if you really want to learn how to decorate exteriors like gardens and stuff, I have done a video on it. You can check out the link in the card above or in the description, and I taught how to basically decorate and create a Lego garden. And in real life, you know, if you go to check out real gardens and just take note of different landscaping techniques, you can apply that to Lego as well. Over here, once again, I'm just going to add in a couple of these flower studs. Let's go over to this side. Looks like we have more areas to work with. Let's start here first. This, I think I'll just use some studs just to break it up. But here, I wonder if we can do more plants or more of a, yeah, we could do a bit more like a kind of a garden feel, like a deliberate. Let's fill up these corners here, and let's just add in flowers over here. You know what, just to give it more interest, let me make this taller. I think that's fine. Let's not overdo it, but as you can see, if you just have a look around, that's the exterior done. And I think we're about done. That looks pretty inviting. Looks like it frames the entire build pretty well. Alright, so now let's go into the interior. I'm going to show you something I have. This is what I call my box of small builds. Let me just push this here. I've got a box over here. Let's zoom out just a bit. And this box basically is filled with all kinds of small builds I've built over time. And I've either built them for tutorials, or built them for small buildings, or MOCs, and I've taken them down, but I've kept all these parts. So I know that I'll have some things I can use for this office, some things I'll have to build, but I know there's some things that I can use. So let's, okay, that's a TV, maybe we can use that. Let's move that. A chair I definitely can use. Some kind of a sofa, which I'll throw on the floor because we won't use that. A bed. Okay, I know I've got more than one bed. I've got several different beds. That's another bed. It looks pretty big. I'm not sure if it can even fit inside. I'll go with this smaller bed here. It's another bed here, also a bit big. I think the colors work for this, so I'm going to use this. Some kind of sofa. ATM, just in case they need to pay the interior designer, but that's not going to fit. A dumpster. Let's look for some, yeah, I'll need this kind of a kitchenette. Got another air conditioner, we'll definitely need that. Don't think a bench would fit. A chandelier, maybe this might fit that display area. Donuts, I don't think so. I think that's about it for now. I think I have enough to work with, so let's close up this box and come back to our build over here. And now to figure out what I'm going to do, let's start off with, I think, designing this area here. Remember, this was the display I talked about. So I want to put in different displays inside here. And the whole idea is, you know, if you drive past the building or walk past the building, you see the displays inside and you can tell, oh, this must be either some kind of a furniture design shop or something. So I've got a whole bunch of things that I can choose from. It won't be these two. I definitely want to put this. This is the kitchenette. So I'm going to put this inside. That would likely go into the ground floor. And we'll work our way up. So let's use the bed. Or maybe we'll use this. We could put this inside. Okay, I'm going to pop this open as carefully as I can. So this chandelier technically can be hung inside. But I think it looks just too big for this tiny building. So let's forget the chandelier. Let's maybe the bed. The bed, yeah, just fits in just nicely. I think we'll put the bed in here, and we'll put this kitchenette on the ground floor. For the second floor, I guess we could do some kind of sofa. Actually, I want this sofa for the inside of the office. So let me open up my box once again and see if I have a sofa that I can use or some kind of chair. Okay, I've got one here. I think the colors work well. I do want some colors that would pop. So I think I can put the sofa in here, the chair and the kitchenette there, and I think that works. However, for the bed, you know, it's a bit flat. Now, if you think in terms of sight lines, let's say you're a minifigure and you're looking up, this would look very low. You can't see it. So I want to raise this up. So I'm going to raise this up with a stand of some sorts. I guess we can use bricks, but let's use transparent bricks. I've got two transparent bricks here that would work. Let's see how this is built. Yep, I could fit this here and here, and that essentially goes just like that. Now if you look from here. You can see it's hard for you to see. I'll show you from a different angle later on. But basically now it's raised up so a minifig can at least see what it is from a distance. So let me now take this apart and I'll put in all the different parts and then we'll put it back together. The display fully intact, except that one doesn't really look set and centered. Let's see, I can remove this and I can push it this way. Yeah, I designed this such that we still can reach inside. Let's see if I can do it without breaking anything apart. So I want to put this more, I can't go really in the center, so let's at least straighten it out and let's at least do it that way. Okay. So that works. All the different displays. What I did for the bed was just, again, due to the length of the bed, it was an odd size, so I put 2 jumper plates inside so that I could offset the position, and now it's centered. And there you have the kitchenette here, the sofa here, and yeah, that works. So there we have kind of a display. This, in a way, maybe acts as the signage for this interior designer's office, and I think that works out pretty well. Now let's go and design the inside. So I have created a bit of a backstory for this building. It's the interior designer's office, and he's an award-winning interior designer. That's why he can afford such a nice little office building. So I want to showcase some awards since he's award-winning. I need to think of some decorations to make this look like a interior designer studio or an office, and we want to make it comfortable for potential customers to come in. So the first thing we need to do is to create a workstation. So I'm going to create a workstation here, so some kind of a office desk with a computer, something you expect to find. I do want to use this sofa. I think it's very inviting. That can be placed somewhere there. And then we'll decorate the walls as well as the floor. So let's start off with the workstation first. This is something I have to build and put together. And let's take some items out. I'm going to create a desk out of bricks and a glass panel, and basically I want it to look like a glass panel or glass desk. Using this panel piece and modified brick, I'll create the sides. Over here I'm going to use a plate and 2 headlight bricks, and then I need the legs, which I'm just going to use white bricks as well, and a white towel to just cover this end. Yeah. So this is a variation of a dining table that I've taught in a separate tutorial, and you can check out that tutorial in the link above or in the description. But basically this is supposed to look like a glass desk, which will fit very well in the overall design of this build. Notice the exposed studs. I would either towel this up, but when it comes to a desk, I'd rather put stuff on top to fill it up. So I'm going to use a computer monitor. I have a keyboard here somewhere. I've got an envelope. And I have to put stuff on top. How about a cup as well? Now I can put this directly on top like that. So we have some mail and a cup. For this, I want to offset it a bit, so I'm going to use 2 white jumper plates. This also is important because I think if I were to put the monitor right at the end in the corner, the monitor will probably hit the wall. So this is better, just like that. And let me put the keyboard first, and I can offset too. I'll do that. Yeah. That kind of works. In fact, maybe we don't even need the jumper plate for the keyboard. We can remove that and just put the keyboard there. Wrong way. This way. Monitor goes back. Yeah. And there we have a nice desk, which looks like a workstation, and this glass feels always nice. So that works. That will go into right there. I'm not going to press it down, so typically I don't press it down and attach it directly in place in case I need to change the position, but that's my working position for now. And I have a chair, which I got from my little build box, that I'll put somewhere there. Now I want that sofa to be there, so I just need to create some kind of a base for it. So it's very useful, as you can see, to have all these pre-built small builds. So in your spare time, if you want to practice MOCs and you've got some spare parts, just build small stuff and keep them. They don't take up much space. You can always use the parts if you need to. And then when you create MOCs like this, it saves a lot of time because you already have something available. So I'm going to place this, right there. Again, I'm not going to press it in, but let me just figure out the right position. Now, the thing about this particular build, this has to be straight because it takes 3 studs. Otherwise, it takes up too much space. So let's put that here and see if there's enough space for a minifig to walk in. I'm trying to center it to the window as well. Now I'm checking if it's kind of in the way. It's a bit too close for comfort over here, because a minifig, if they walk in, they're just gonna hit that directly. But at the same time, I can't have it so close to this display. Well, I can. So my rationale would be this. This display isn't opened up all the time because it's really just the display. So I can place the couch all the way to the corner here, creating enough space to walk in. And in the event the minifig needs to change the display, he just moves the couch. So I think that's fine if I place this couch here. Okay, so I've got that. I need a place to put his award. Remember, he's an award-winning interior designer. So I've got an award I created, which is basically this nano minifig on a 1x1 transparent brick. And we'll create a nice display table using this 2x2 panel and a jumper plate. And that can go here. And that's a nice little display. I like to use these panel pieces, whether they're transparent or whether they're colored. And it's a little tip. This actually takes up less space than if you were to use 1x2 bricks. So if you're creating any kind of side table or a table stand or display like this, instead of using 1x2 bricks, which actually visually take up much more space, use these panels, because while they are the same footprint visually and actually space-wise or area space, 3D-dimensional space, it takes up less space. And for small builds, it really works because you want to fill up an interior, but you do not want to make it too cluttered. So see, that works. That fits there, so once someone comes in or they sit down, they can see that particular award. That goes in there. I think that's about it. I can start doing the tiling now that I've worked out the relative positions. And I've chosen the color beforehand. I'm going to use a combination of purple and black. Never used this combination before. So I'm going to tile it, and I do not want to just do a normal, pattern next to each other. I'm trying to do some kind of a crisscross looking pattern. So let's just give it a shot and see what happens. Wow, that was actually harder than I thought it would be. But hopefully you can see some kind of a design, so it's not just so straightforward. I don't think it's the best looking design in the world, but it will do for now. But basically, I just wanted to experiment and try not to do such a linear pattern, which can be visually quite boring. This, I think, at least has some kind of pattern, even if it looks like nothing on earth. But now let's put the furniture back into place, and there the sofa goes. And there we have the interior. We've got a very interesting floor. We've got a workstation with computer, a desk, and the sofa. I think we're almost there, but what I want to do is also to decorate the walls, because remember, when you do any kind of interior decoration, it's not just the floor, it's not just the furniture, but also the walls. Okay, there are two things I think I can add. The first thing I want to add is a newspaper clipping or newspaper sign or something that we can frame up here. Basically, it's an award-winning architect, so we want a newspaper feature to go alongside with the award. And over here, I'm going to do some artwork. It's not really an artwork, well, it is an artwork, but I've got a special idea for this. So let's do this first. And to do that, we need a modified brick. And that allows me to put a decorative tile on the wall. So let's try to take this out without breaking everything. I'm going to just replace this single brick here with the modified brick. And this can go back on top like that. Here we have a decorated tile that looks like a newspaper clipping of sorts, and that will go here just behind the award. Yeah, I think that works. Again, just adds a bit of detail to the wall. Now I want to add something here, and I'm going to add a piece of artwork of sorts that goes here. To do that, I need to replace the brick with a modified brick. I'm using a 1x2 here, so let's replace that first. And I have to figure out how to replace it. So first I'm going to take out these bricks that are already here, and I'm just going to place it centered. Okay, so what's this mysterious artwork that I'm going to put together? Nothing mysterious, but I think it fits the theme of the office. I've got a whole bunch of 1x1 tiles of different colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create a color palette, because it makes sense for this particular office building, since it is an interior designer's office. So it makes sense for them to have some kind of color palette where you can show clients different color swabs, or basically they can choose colors for furniture or whatever they want. So I'm just going to put together the colors, and there you have a very simple looking color palette, but you can kind of get the idea. That goes onto the wall here, so it's like a color chart, and that goes there. I think that works. So here we have wall decorations here. Let's try to bring it up a bit. We've got the sofa, workstation, the award for the interior designer. The door opens up, nothing's in the way, and he can go out to see his fountain, which has died along the way. So let's put back all these things, and let's put back this entire building and have a look at the final product. Okay, I've put everything back together, but it's not complete yet. Just a few more touches. Remember, there's supposed to be a light over here, so I have to put that together, and that uses a trans yellow round brick, this tap element. So I'm going to just put those together like that, and this tap element goes to the jumper, and there we have a little light. I also had the air conditioner unit, which I took from my small box, so I will add that over here. Okay, we need a base plate, so just a 2x2 plate, and that we can place, let's put it in this corner here. And let's add one more element. Need a little cat who's kind of stuck on the roof. Yeah, I think that works. And there it is, one final all-round look at the finished build. What do you think of this interior designer's office? Do you think we've captured the look of the build? Do you think it's interesting? Do you think it's nice? Do you think it was worth the time and effort to put together? I personally like all the different elements, especially considering it's such a small footprint or base plate. We've got things like the exterior with the greens, we've got the back porch with the water fountain, of course this multi-tiered display unit, which I think really works as the highlight of the build, and of course the roof is nicely designed, all kinds of features. We've got the air conditioning unit, the skylight, so many elements incorporated within such a small build. But let me know what you think, and that's what's the most important. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.